Good morning. This is Krishnamurthy, Assistant Professor, Department of BCom CA, K.S.Rangasamy College of Arts and Science, Autonomous, Tiruchengode. Today we'll discuss the topic of process of decision making. What are the processes involved in taking a decision in organizations? So in decision making, we have to see the step-by-step process of taking a decision. The famous quotes, whenever you see the successful business, someone once made a courageous decisions. The quotes given by Peter F. Drucker. Before we are going to discuss about the process of decision making, we have to discuss about the meaning of decision making. So decision making is an important component of every organizations, which is followed by a superior and managers. The process of selecting a right and effective course of action from two or more alternatives for the purpose of achieving a desired goal. So in this effective course of action, there were multiple choice to choose and taking a good decision makings. The process of selecting a course of actions from among several alternatives in order to accomplish desired result. In several alternatives, they have two or more decision making. They are choosing a right decisions. The purpose of decision making is to direct human behavior and commitment towards the future goal. Yes, of course, we have to agree that decision making 100% in future oriented, because they are taking a good decisions means the organization will follow a good manner. Decision making is all about choosing from the available options. The better choices you make, the better decisions maker you will become. Of course, every managers and superiors, they are following right decisions. They thought about the follow-up is very formal way. So there is a 7 steps or 7 process of decision makings. In first one, identification problems. Steps 2, analysis of problems. Step 3, development of alternatives. Step 4, evaluation of alternatives. Then stepwise selection of best alternative. Step 6, implementation of alternative. And then step 7, review of implementation or review of taking a decisions. The first step of decision making is identification of the problem. Even the manager and superior, they are identifying the problem where it is arised. They are understood the problem means they are solving the half of the problems. The first and most important step of the decision making process is to identify the main problems. The problem may arise due to the internal and external factors of organization. In internal and external, they are creating a decision regarding these two factors. It's believed that the identification of the problem is the completion of the half of the decision making process. Yes, we are already discussed where the problem arises. They identify the factors, the problem will be 75% is solved. Identifying the problem is similar to diagnosing a disease, which helps in providing a right medicine to the patients. In hospitality field, the doctor will identify the disease. They are able to give a right medicine for patients. And when a problem is correctly understood, it becomes easy to solve. Of course, the problem, when it's correctly understood, it becomes easy to solve. It becomes easy to solve means they are ready to give a right feedback. The manager should uniformly monitor the working environment, symptoms of problems, and the root cause of a problem. Of course, the manager should maintain the feedback about working environment and symptom of the problem. Where the problem arises means they are particularly monitor the symptoms of the problem and the root cause of the problem, because it's a basic thing the manager taking a decisions. For this, he has to consider progress report from a subordinates, compare the actual performance and study the factors affecting the regular work. Besides, he has to use his skills, knowledge, experience and judgment to conclude. He has to use these skills. Of course, managers or superior, he will be using the skills and judgment. He having a previous experience to using the taking a correct decisions. The second step of decision making or second process of decision making is the analysis the problems. First we are identifying the problems, and then second step analyzing the problem. So analysis the problems, the word itself, analysis of problems, where the problem is arised, then what's the reason behind this. So after completing the first step of another step of the decision making process in analyzing, identified the problem, in second step they are analyzed. For this, a decision maker has to accumulate all facts, data and information related to the problems. The superior or manager collecting data where the problem arised, facts and data, information related to the problems. So that's what we can able to analyze the problems. Analyzing the problem is a part of the decision maker to study the main reasons for a problems and their impact on a short as well as long-term organizational performance. A quick analysis of problem, accumulating all related facts, data and information is a must to find out the actual source of the problems. The third step of the process of decision making is developing the alternative or alternative. In this, alternative means we have a more chances or possibilities or decisions. So that's what developing the alternatives. Developing alternatives, a problem may have a various alternative solutions. So of course the alternatives means we have a multiple solution to choose a best one. The decision maker has to identify and study all the possible solutions. A decision maker should creative and innovative to identify all the alternative solutions. So in this, manager or superior they are discussing about which one is suitable for us. Then only they are taking a correct decisions, because they have a multiple choice, 2 or more solutions for the problems, which the problem or which the solution is suit for a particular problem. So then only it's a suitable for all the decisions. He can identify the alternatives from various sources like records and files of a problems, opinions and views of experts, discussion with subordinates, creators and customers. In views of expert means they are collecting the feedback about previous or experienced candidates or experienced persons. So that's called the views of expert. And then discussion with subordinates. Of course, the manager or superior, they are not taking decisions in lonely. They are discussing about the problem regarding subordinates and his employees. So then only he taking a decision in a right manner. The more clearly identified alternatives provide a more freedom for brainstorming. A manager should concentrate on developing and finding those alternatives which are strategic to the problems. Therefore, the development of alternative solution is mental and creating work that requires discussion and creativity. Next step of decision making is evaluation of alternative. After the development of alternative, it's the next step. After making all the alternatives, the next step in planning or decision making is to evaluate these alternatives. Evaluate this alternative means which one is suit for particular decisions. Evaluation is required in order to select the best alternative for implementation. So while evaluating alternatives, the manager must compare the alternative plans or decisions. So manager must compare with the decisions for previous problems. For this, the manager must consider the quantitative and qualitative factor. Let's see the quantitative and qualitative factors. What are the qualitative factors and quantitative factors regarding the evaluation of alternative? How they are evaluating the alternatives in these two factors, that's quantitative and qualitative. So quantitative factors that we are all know, the quantitative factors are those factors that can be measured numerically. Of course, we agreed the quantitative factors in all ways they are measuring or evaluating the factor is numerical only. For example, number of units sold, cost in rupees, etc. The quantitative factors tangible in nature. So in opposite, the qualitative factors in intangible. The qualitative factors, the manager must also consider the qualitative factors. The qualitative factor are intangible nature, for example, quality of labor force, customer satisfaction, etc. the next step of decision making or next process of decision making is step 5, selection of best alternative. So this is the midpoint of steps or process. They are selecting a best alternative. So in this is the final stage of the decision making process. After the evaluation of various alternatives, we have various alternative. After evaluating or comparing, after that selecting a best alternative. So now this is the step, we are choosing only one decisions. Here the best feasible alternative is being selected. So in this best feasible alternative is being selected means which one is adapted for our organization or company. They are choosing the decisions. For the best alternative, managers should consider short-term as well long-term impacts on organizational performance. Following approaches are followed to select the best alternative course of action. Experience, experimentation, research and analysis, and personal value and aspiration. A decision maker has to consider above approaches to analyze and select the best solution. He has to select an alternative, consider the feasibility and satisfactoriness and financial soundness of the organization. The selection of the best solution helps for implementation and gain positive outcomes in organizational objectives. Step of decision making or process of decision making is implementation of alternative. After evaluating or comparing and selecting the best alternative course of action, this is the next step, implementing. Now we are ready to implementing the decision making regarding the problem based. So you are now ready to take some positive action by beginning to implement an alternative choosing step 5. So step 5, after continuity, step implementation of alternative. Now we are ready to implementing the decision, what we are discussed, what we are taking the decisions. This is the operational part of the decision making process. This is the operational process. Now we are ready to working the decision making. So a decision can be made by evaluating the alternatives with the help of available resources, but the implementing them quite is difficult. The efficiency of decision maker is measured in terms of effective implementation of the decision. So this is the major step of decision making process, because they are starting to work for taking a decisions. So this is the final step of decision making or final process of decision making. Review of implementation. The word itself, review of implementation. Review means we are collecting the feedbacks whether it's suited or not. So after completing or implementing or comparing the decision making, review of implementation, whether the problem solved or not. In this final step, consider the result of your decision and evaluate whether or not it has resolved the need to you identified step 1, because the problem is solved or not. Again we have to reframe the previous steps. That's all need to you identified in step 1. If the decision has not met the identified need, you may want to repeat the certain step. It's clearly explained. We want to repeat the certain step, not all step. We want to repeat the certain step, because we have to creating or reframing the 1 or 2 steps of the process to make a new decision. It's necessary to evaluate to the performance from time to time. Steps from 1 to 5 are the main step in the decision making. 1 to 5 it's an important or main step to taking a decisions. Then process and step from 6 to 7. 6 to 7 is the supporting steps, because we are already collecting the data, we are already framing the decision making. 6 to 7 is just we are implementing and collecting the reviews, because step 7 review of implementation, because 6 to 7 is a supporting step for the better performance of the selected course of action. If we are taking a wrong decision, if we are not met with the need, we have to reframe or recreate the steps 1 to 5, because we have to reframe the 1 to 5 of decision makings. Thank you all. Next class we will discuss the one more important topic. Thank you.